Here in the room, yes, we do. And we have started the meeting, so we're all good. Excellent. Welcome, everybody. All right, the stage is yours.
Yeah, thank you. So, hi everyone, I'm Megha Joy from the GDGC team. So, we're so glad to have all of you here. Welcome to Vantage, which is an online talk session on cybersecurity and AI. I'm so happy to introduce our presenter for the event, that is Ms. Philippa Burgess. She has a very extensive academic background that ranges from geospatial intelligence to urban planning and international relations. She's also studying law, and she's the principal of the GeoCyber Society. Yeah. So, hi, thank you. Over the stage to you.
Thank you. Welcome, everybody. I'm going to turn it over to my co-host to make his introductions.
I'm the technical lead for GDGC and BCT. So I'll be the co-host for this event along with Philippa. Thank you, Philippa. So you can continue.
Excellent. So welcome, everybody. We're so excited to have you here today. I'm going to ask Ben, do you want to put up our slides so we can kind of follow the sort of set up the structure for today? So part one of our event is going to be introducing you to the AI part, which is the Copilot. And then we'll get into a discussion and a whole lot of resources and opportunities to share for you related to cybersecurity. So part one is we have Copilot, and we have a challenge for you this week to complete a learning path. Now, that said, we had two options. One is because we each kind of get credit for it, so we were going to kind of break out rooms. And we will break out room if we pass 30 live attendees. Otherwise, we'll just kind of get everybody else who registered but hasn't joined us in a follow-up email. So, Abin, I'm going to let you we don't actually need to go into breakout rooms again unless we're at 30 or more than 30. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll just begin. And we know we can skip our break. And then everybody who is here live is going to join group one. And if you're watching this on the replay, you'll either be invited to join, you'll have the option of joining group one or group two. And so but for everybody's registered, just follow along the instructions that you'll get through Luma. But for everybody here who's live, you are going to be in group one. You're going to be in Abin's group. So I'm going to let you, if you can bring up our slides, and then we'll get going.
Make the slides.
Oh, wait, I'm not seeing, maybe
minute.
it's my view. Maybe it's just I'm in the wrong view. I'm not seeing them.
Make the slides. The slides are there. She'll just share it right now.
There we are. Now I see them. Yep. Perfect. Looks great. Okay, welcome. Welcome, everybody, to Vantage. Our talk on AI and cybersecurity. And today we're going to go into Copilot learning and career paths. And as our kind host had introduced me, I'm part of the NICE, which is in the US, Cybersecurity Career Ambassador, which is part of the National Initiative for Cybersecurity Education. But it is a global initiative. We want everybody to be trained up on cybersecurity and feel welcome in the cybersecurity field. So I am a Gold Ambassador with the Microsoft Student Ambassador Program. I'm a graduate student. I am studying law, specifically privacy law and cybersecurity, which builds on a master's in human security and geospatial intelligence, which is a kind of a national security degree, which builds upon my urban planning, which was sort of the beginning of my journey into government studies, and more formally, because my background was international relations. I love the world and all things global, and I find great joy being able to have the opportunity to speak on global stages. So the fact that we can all be here together in a room is very joyful for me. And just so you know, it's 6 o'clock in my morning because I'm on the west coast of the United States. So but I have so much, as I said, joy just bringing us all together and learning together. And what we're proposing to you this week is our challenge. Abin and I will be actually doing alongside of you. I have not done this challenge yet, but I'm super excited to. All right, next, let's get on with our challenge. And meet our co-host. Go back. Yes. I want you to say a few words about yourself.
Most probably most of them would be knowing me. So I'm still the technical lead for GDGC MPCT, and currently I am the Microsoft Student Ambassador for the year 2026. And let's go through the Copilot challenge now. So let's proceed, Philippa.
Yep, absolutely. So we're going to get you all started on a learning path for optimizing workflows with Microsoft 365. And again, everybody who here is live, go ahead and sign up for group 1. And we're going to go ahead and put that link in the chat. So that's easy for you to just click on that link. We don't actually have chat enabled in this webinar, just because that's how it works in Teams. So we're going to use the Q&A. And I'm actually in the Q&A right now. And I'm just going to put the link in for group 1. So go ahead and click on that link or use the QR code. And again, everybody here, group 1, and let's get started. We'll leave that up for a second if you want to use your phone and use the QR code. I need to mute someone. Okay. Everybody's muted. Okay. Okay, we're good. So we've got that. So let's, do you want to get in? So this is what it's going to look like, either in light mode or dark mode on your computer, but you're going to get here to this page, and you're going to see this milestone plan. And you're going to register. If you don't have a Microsoft Learn account, this is the perfect time to get one. There's so much amazing learning. And whether your interest is as a developer, interested in data science, cybersecurity, AI, every aspect of the technical knowledge in the Microsoft ecosystem is available for you to learn here on Microsoft Learn. So do really encourage you to explore beyond this. But right now, it's go ahead and set up your account. If you have any questions or doubts, drop them in the chat. We will address them. Or just raise your hand and we'll take you off mute and invite you to share your question. And so, this is meant to be, let's go. So it says it's 5 modules. It does say 3 hours, but we're going to give you some shortcuts, so it doesn't need to be. All the learning is there for you if you need extra help. So that's why it gives you the option of taking it slowly and all the way through. But if this is already kind of easy for you and you already kind of know this, you can actually just test out and in the final test pages. So let's go through it. So we've got it's optimizing business processes with Microsoft 360 Copilot. One thing I learned about Copilot that I thought was really interesting is that Copilot is actually a different Copilot everywhere it lives. So you're not dealing with the same Copilot when you're in Excel as you are in Word, as you are in just the 365, the standalone Copilot. So everywhere every app that you use now for Microsoft is going to have a little Copilot button. And that Copilot is specifically trained on the platform that you're using it. So if you find that it's super great in one, maybe it's not as great in another, or if it's not as great in one, you might find it much better in another. It's still learning, it's still being trained, it's still taking your feedback, but it's everywhere. And that's why this is one of the foundational paths that Microsoft gave us to give to you to say, hey, this is where everybody should start to really be AI proficient, because you're going to see this everywhere. So it's really good to know how to optimize it, how to use it, and also how to think in terms of responsible AI. So let me turn it over to you, Abin.
So Megha, can you just walk through the module that we are doing right now?
Sure. So right now we're in
This is
the.
Okay, sure.
Oh, do you want to go back to sharing your screen, and we can just kind of scroll through it?
No worries. You can continue.
Well, actually, I want to put the slides back up because the slides kind of also walk through each of the sessions. So this is the introduction, and so we've got that. So everybody should be on the learning path. Can I get a show of emojis that everybody has gotten the learning path downloaded? And you can also download the app on your phone as well. Can I get some emojis? Confirming. Yes, you've got it. Yay! All right, I see. The party has started. I love it. Thank you. Okay, great. All right, and you have until Friday, and we want to get you set up to be successful and to take as long or as little as you need to get through the 5 steps. So I want to go to the next slide. So you start on this learning path, and then you also, so there's group 1 and group 2. So again, if you're watching this in replay, we'll probably invite you to come join group 2. This way, each of us kind of get credit. So every time you achieve this, we celebrate because we get our credit for being part of the program. So we really appreciate you participating. So we're all here to kind of help each other. What you're going to get: Copilot, workflows, responsible AI. And so next slide. Okay, and you'll also get 12 months of free Microsoft 365 Premium, which includes that standalone Copilot, which is a great tool. Oftentimes, I have now my council of AI. So I often do projects, especially if I'm writing. I write a lot of mini books. I'm going to share one with you for cybersecurity as a post-event resource. I actually run it through and kind of get the advice of the different AIs. So I use Copilot, I use ChatGPT, I use Perplexity, I use Claude, and I use Gemini. And they each have different skills and do things differently and accomplish different tasks. So now you will have access to the full Copilot. So this is a great resource. And again, as long as you just confirm you're a student, you have access to this. Okay, next. All right, so what you're going to get within this is the Copilot chat, and it showcases the common Copilot prompt flows in the 365 apps. So including PowerPoint, Word, Excel, Outlook. And it's really, for PowerPoint, it's quite amazing. You can just give it a prompt and it will draft your entire PowerPoint presentation. Now you will need to go back and edit it, but if you want a starting point, it's pretty good. I also find with Copilot, though, just my experience with it in certain apps, is that it needs more RAG, which is that augmentation. So as much as you can inform it about your project, your knowledge, what you already know, it's a really good editor. It's a really good polisher, takes it across the finish line. But I find it's very generic if it doesn't really know what you're talking about. So make sure that you give it as much knowledge as you can, and it will I find, in my experience, it will perform really well. All right, next. Okay, so yeah, so just begin. This is a beginner level, and I know many of you may go, well, I'm past beginner. I don't need that. That's fine. You will race through this. You will get it done so fast. One distinction I want to make is that there's a difference between certificates and certifications, and also just learning paths. So obviously there are many exams that you'll take in class online that are proctored. You do not cheat. You do not use AI. You bring the knowledge that you have and you apply it. Then there's the certificates. You kind of go through the modules. And here it's like, if you need AI to help you, use AI. It's fine. You're not cheating. You're just, because these are for your own learning. These are for your own growth. And so and then the same thing with the labs. The labs are absolutely there for you if you need the time and you want to go through it in great detail because you need that. They're there for you. If you don't need a lab, you can skip a lab. So just use what you need to get it done as efficiently as possible for your own learning. Again, these are not proctored exams. These are for your benefit and for your learning. Okay, next. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like exactly. You're going to see module 1, I'll unlock productivity and unleash creativity with AI-powered chat. So you just go through these. So you've got the introduction, understanding 365 Copilot chat, optimizing your workflow. So they go pretty quick. These modules are read only, and they'll give you a hack because I, having done 3 master's degrees, know the power of read it to me. I love audio. Especially, I have so much respect for, I know for most all of you, English is a second language. So you can translate this, and I believe, into your native language as you go through this. But I highly recommend audio. And if you need a translate feature, I believe it's there. So you can make it as easy on yourself and however you like to read or study. Okay, next. And also pointing out that that exercise was optional. So again, that's why like it looks like it's longer than it really is. Yeah, and this is what it's going to look like. It's just you read through it and then keep going. And then you just, when you're finished, there'll be a little quiz. And then and again, if you need any help with anything, just ask the AI. It will help you. And then at the end of it, you've succeeded in accomplishing the learning path. We ask that you finish this by Friday, the 28th. So that's the challenge time. And we will send you a certificate from our program, from the Microsoft Student Ambassador Program, to add to your portfolio, to share on social media. Everybody always knows if you tag me, I always repost it. So a good way like just to expand your reach. And there you are. So yeah, so we invite you to finish it by Friday. And next, if you're new here, I noticed a few more people have just joined. Go to the Q&A and click on the link and download the learning path. And that's what we were talking about right now to get started. And again, for me, I used Microsoft Edge and the read aloud feature for, I would say, most of my online readings. That is just how I have gotten through grad school. So if you're not familiar with that, it's those three little dots on your Edge browser. Go to more tools, go to read aloud, and then you will get the little play button. And that is how I've made it through grad school. And if you need any help with these learning modules, again, there's always ChatGPT and there's always Copilot who can help answer any questions if a concept is new or you just need extra help outside of the learning path. And that's it. That brings us to the end of our kind of Copilot onboarding. And you'll unlock your productivity, you'll unleash your creativity with these AI-powered chats. And so we just wanted to, you'll be better at working with your files, your meetings, your chats, your emails, people on the web, and you'll basically just have all the Microsoft productivity tools you need, and now just AI enabled for both creativity and responsibility. So, because AI ethics are also like an important part of understanding and working with AI. And I think that's the conclusion of part one. Are we ready to go to cybersecurity? I think we are.
Sure.
Here we are. All right. Excellent. So I just wanted to confirm everybody's onboarded. Does anybody have any questions or doubts or challenges just with the Learning Path Challenge? And can we count on you all to get this done by Friday? Excellent. I mean, honestly, you can probably knock it out within an hour. And especially, like I said, and also with the read aloud, you can change the speed. So I often go a little faster, so it just goes quicker. But that's how I study. Okay, so cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is being transformed by AI. So both the attackers and the defenders are using AI. Just that is what's happening right now. It is in really kind of scary, actually, when you look at it, because there's so many ways that AI is vulnerable, and AI is making everything easier because you can ask AI, how do I break into the system? Not that you should be asking that, but that's obviously why we also have ethical hackers, the ones that want to find the vulnerabilities in a system so they can protect that system. So those are terms that you'll hear in cybersecurity: red team and blue team. So the red team is the one who attacks, so they can look for the vulnerabilities in the system. And the blue team is the one who defends and protects. And they're the ones who, like, their entire job is to look for and scan for breaches and attackers and protect and defend their systems or contain the system. And then sometimes you'll have what they call purple teams, which do a little bit of red teaming and blue teaming. So those are terms you'll hear often in the cybersecurity world. One of the things I think is a misconception about cybersecurity is that it's only for certain people who have certain skills or they're very fancy, and they're not. The reality is, how many people here use a code on your phone or your computer? Do you have any kind of password or security for your phone or your computer? Give me an emoji on that. Give me a thumbs up if you use any kind of security. Okay, we got one person who uses security. That person is doing cybersecurity. All right, I got a question. Okay, you can unmute yourself. All right, if you have a question, yeah, I saw a hand raised, so feel free to come off of mute. But anyways, everybody should have passwords enabled on your phone, passwords enabled on your computer, and you are doing cybersecurity. Anything that you're doing to protect and defend your systems is cybersecurity. When you're a developer, I want you to be thinking about making sure, probably the most important thing you do as a developer is protecting your AIs, protecting your not AIs, your APIs, protecting your code, protecting your AI tokens. That's really important. And sometimes for me, who kind of has always kind of been coding, but still kind of relied a little bit more on maybe vibe coding, it didn't tell me in the very beginning, how do I protect an API? And I would get these blaring alerts. I was using some Google resources saying, your APIs are unprotected. And I think there was some student who got a $55,000 bill because people had hijacked his API and were like, oh, we can use these tokens. And so you really want to make sure that you're using that .env file, you're using git ignore, you're using all best practices to make sure you're keeping your system secure. So cybersecurity really starts with you and making sure that you're the best that you can be in terms of protection of everything that you do. And any job that you do for your life as a student, your entire career, you should have a security mindset in what you do because people are the weakest link in all of cybersecurity. And Microsoft is huge on cybersecurity. Microsoft also integrates Copilot into Microsoft cybersecurity. And so here's just an example of kind of how it's using Copilot in connected to responsible AI. So there's a lot going on here, but basically you can use prompting in the Microsoft security solutions. You can use plugins from Microsoft products. So there's just kind of a whole way that Copilot, again, is integrated into every part of the Microsoft ecosystem. Go back just one slide, because I just want to sort of say that I'm part, so NIST is in the US, the National Institute of Standards and Technologies, part of our US Department of Commerce. And then NICE is a program inside of it, which is our National Initiative for Cybersecurity Education. And I am a cybersecurity career ambassador. So I'm encouraged to get on stages and speak and encourage people to think about cybersecurity, not just in their own work, which I think is really important, but also in opportunities to explore cybersecurity career pathways. And there are lots and lots of opportunities in cybersecurity, and they only continue to grow and change. And when you come in with a developer background, when you come in with AI, you have so much to contribute to the field because that's where everything is going. And a lot of people who've been in the industry for a long time know some of the major foundations of cybersecurity, but they're really still having to figure out the AI piece of it. So you have an advantage there, and you can add and bring a lot to the field. Okay, so let's keep moving along. All right. So one of the things and this is particularly what I study, but and we'll go into like the different fields. But one of the things when you think about cybersecurity is this idea that the foundation is the rules, the framework, the law that it exists in. And there's privacy. So certain data that's like they call PII, personal identifiable information. So in the US, we use social security numbers, or it can be anything that identifies you should be kept confidential. And if you give that information to a company, they have a responsibility for keeping it confidential. Same thing with PHI, personal health information. So when you go to a doctor or a hospital, they have a responsibility to keep that information private. So that's where you have this intersection of governance, risk, and compliance. And it works around the technology, the processes, and the people. I think a lot of people think of cybersecurity as being tech, and it is tech, but it's also people, processes, governance, compliance, understanding what a risk is, how to identify it, analyze it, control it, what are the laws, regulations, controls, and activities, and then for compliance, and then governance, strategies, policies, and culture. And this is one of the things that culture is really important. That's why I wanted to encourage everyone here to really think about culture. So culture is you having a security mindset. There's another term that you'll hear often, which is called social engineering. Most attacks and breaches come from social engineering, people being manipulated, people giving information because they think it's their boss calling them, but it's not. They think it's someone who lost something and they're just trying to be helpful. So they give them access that they should not. The second part is misconfiguration. That's why as you learn how to and are continue to work in cloud, you learn how to configure those systems properly, because that's where a lot of breaches happen. Probably the most vulnerable is if you're working in multi-cloud. So you've got certain things happening in Azure, certain things happening on GCP, certain things happening in AWS. Where those connect, there's our vulnerabilities. So making sure not only you understand your cloud configurations, but you understand how cloud connects with each other securely. Okay, next. We will get into. Okay, so NIST has a cybersecurity framework. So wherever you are, you can kind of look at what your security posture is. NICE has a cybersecurity career framework that we're going to look at next. So this is when you're thinking cybersecurity, you're thinking about identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover. Cybersecurity is important in the fact that there's always going to be attacks. There's always going to be breaches. There's always going to be data leaks. You just have to minimize the impact. You have to know how quickly you can identify it. There are big stories of things that went on for weeks and months, and nobody knew the attack was happening. And they were just able to exfiltrate data, like take data out of the company, because they didn't have any barriers to that. Like that's like one of the like security features. You can limit how much data can be exported, and just seeing what's happening, and knowing what your baselines are. What does regular look like? What does normal look like? And so you can tell when something not normal is happening. So well, first you identify, like, what are your assets? What is the business environment? What governance do you have? What's the risk assessment? And what's your risk management strategy? So you're never going to eliminate a cyber attack. You are just going to minimize it and have a playbook for what do you do when it happens. And hopefully you've separated your systems so that an attack can be contained. Identity and identity management is what we're seeing as a trend, is like the biggest trend right now, is that's how the attackers are coming in, is they're just pretending to be someone else, or they're getting someone's credentials. So you protect it. You would carry access controls. You have awareness and training. That again, that's you are a big part of that. Data security, info protection, processes and procedures, maintenance, making sure you add your patches and just keep things, and then just other protective technology like deploying Microsoft Defender, among others. I have a resource that we're going to send to everybody from one of our events that basically introduces you to the entire Microsoft Security Suite and all of just like the main terminology of cybersecurity. You to detect, again, you look for those anomalies or those events, security, continuous monitoring, and detection processes. So when we talked about blue team, that's that job of the blue team. They're there to all that identify, protect, and detect. That's the blue team. Now the respond, and actually blue teaming does a lot of this. Again, the red team is the one who looks for the vulnerabilities and is the ethical attacker. So respond, your respond planning, communications, analysis, mitigation, and improvements. And then you recover. And what's your recovery planning? Again, continuous improvements, communications, to get back to operational. Some breaches are small, some are massive, some are detected quickly, some literally take months. And some it's reputational damage, it's financial damage. And what are they doing? I mean, they're malware, phishing, it's like they're do ransomware. So there's a whole suite of, it's a whole other conversation of like, what are the attacks? But for now, we want to get into a little more of like the career pathways. But this just gives you a sense of like, what is the landscape of cybersecurity? And so NIST has these frameworks, so you can kind of go check step by step with any business environment, just like you're looking at business processes with our Copilot 365 learning path. You can now think of any of those processes and how you can apply just a cybersecurity mindset to it. Okay, next. Okay, so now we get into the careers. What can you do in cybersecurity? And there's a lot. There are standalone cybersecurity roles where you are a cybersecurity professional. There are also, where I am and what I do is there are embedded cybersecurity responsibilities. So I'm actually a spatial data scientist. I make maps. I make maps with data. I'm a data scientist. That's my core. I'm a data scientist in government. I do national security. So within being it's like geospatial intelligence, it's like satellites taking images of Earth and then adding data layers, and that's the world I play in. But it became really obvious to me that if I'm working with classified confidential information, I should probably know how to secure it. And that's what led me into the privacy law and cybersecurity degree. So my work is as a data scientist who is very cybersecurity aware and uses these practices every day. Now there are other jobs, you are just a cybersecurity professional, and that is a lot. There's a lot that goes into that as well. So just keep in mind, you can have standalone or you can sort of have hybrid or adjacent. And then in my mind, absolutely everybody who touches a computer or a cell phone or even a door should know how to lock it and secure it. So you've got jobs that are oversight and governance, design and development, implementation and operations, protect and defend, investigate, cyberspace intelligence, and cyberspace effects. So all of these are different places that you can explore, and there's a lot of resources you can go to look at your skill set and where it might best fit in the world of cybersecurity. All right, next. Okay, so this is actually we're starting to get into the job roles, and I'll just do a brief overview on this one. But again, that investigation, cyberspace intelligence, cyberspace effects, protect and defend, implementation operations, design development, oversight and governance. And so now it actually starts giving you the very specific job titles. So we can look at some of them here that are technical support, system security analyst, system administration, network operations, knowledge management, database administration, data analysis. You've got technology research and development, systems testing and evaluations, system requirements planning, software security assessments, secure systems development, secure software development, enterprise architecture, cybersecurity architecture. So there's, again, that's like just naming a few, but you can do a deep dive and there's many resources that will help you see what the opportunities are and then see what the paths are. Cybersecurity in particular very much depends on certifications. And that's why doing a learning path like you're doing now, real quick, get a certificate, get that credential, is just the beginning of training you. Because if you're going to go cybersecurity, and we all are in cybersecurity as I'm concerned, because we all need to protect and defend even our own resources, that you want to just get comfortable with continuous learning, because that's what it's all about, because it's constantly evolving, it's constantly changing. If you are choosing technology as a career, which you obviously already have, you're choosing cybersecurity, which you should include in whatever you do, you're on a path for continuous learning. And so what we're doing here in getting you going with the learning path is just the beginning of that kind of training and mindset of get started, go through the process, complete it, get celebrated, get acknowledged, and then next, and then keep going in that path. Okay, let's keep moving on this. Okay, so this is just going again further a little bit more into what we're talking about, these different career paths. So securely provisioned, so conceptualize, designs, builds secure information technology systems with responsibility for aspects of systems and network development. You operate and maintain, you provide the support, administration, maintenance necessary to ensure effective and efficient information technology systems, performance, and security. Oversee and govern, provides leadership, management, direction, or development and advocacy so the organization may effectively conduct cybersecurity work. Protect and defend, identifies, analyzes, mitigates threats to internal information technology systems and networks. Analyze, performs highly specialized review and evaluation of incoming cybersecurity information to determine its usefulness for intelligence. Collect and operate, provide specialized denial and deception operations and collection of cybersecurity information that can be used to develop intelligence. And investigate cybersecurity events or crimes related to information technology systems, networks, and digital evidence. So again, just getting a little bit more deeper into what do each of those different areas within cybersecurity contain. And a lot of it is like finding your starting point, because the reality is like once you get going, once you're working, once your interests evolve, once your skills evolve, your roles will also change and evolve over time. But there's just such a huge demand for a cybersecurity workforce globally. So it is a good place to continue to expand your knowledge and your skills and just have fun with it. My favorite things about cybersecurity is I love the capture the flag challenges. There's so many games to it. They make it fun to learn. They make it very it's a really welcoming community. And even being a nice cybersecurity career ambassador, that's a global program. Anybody's welcome to join and become part of the community of interest, or you can become an ambassador yourself in the future if you choose. So there's a lot of, it's a very welcoming community. Okay, next. All right, so this was actually part of what they call sort of 360. A lot of these resources are going to be in the mini book that I'm going to share with you, so you can take a closer look at it. But we're just looking at, again, where do we apply the security? So there's mobile security, which is everything on your phone, advanced threat protection. There's risk governance compliance we talked about. There's system security. There's data security. Okay, next. Nope, back. Yeah, here. There's infrastructure security. There's application security. There's network security. So this kind of gives you, just like I said, that 360 view of like, what are we securing and what types of definitely skills can you develop? All right, next. Microsoft Security, which is a really robust part of the Microsoft ecosystem, is also an amazing resource. So on Microsoft Learn, there are, I haven't created yet, but we certainly can, cybersecurity learning paths. I remember one exam that I was taking, I was getting prepared for, and as I was studying, I went through the Microsoft Learn cryptology learning path, and I was so glad I did, because everything on that exam tied directly to what I had learned in that learning path, and I was so grateful for it. But I would recommend that you follow on social media Microsoft Security. They have amazing blogs. They have YouTubes. They have a lot of information, and it's a great community to get involved in. And again, this mini book that I keep talking about came from an event that we did in December called Get to Know Microsoft Security Solutions and Innovation. And we kind of did a wrap up, and it's just got so many links and resources that you can go and explore. But many of them will lead you into the Microsoft security ecosystem and learning resources, and just kind of see what sparks your interest and where you might want to go next in your cybersecurity journey. Next, I think we're about to wrap this up. Yeah, thank you. Yep, this is our Get to Know Cybersecurity And so what you're going to get is you're going to get a certificate for completing the learning path. And then when we send out that certificate, we will also include the mini book that you'll have, which is a great, like I said, way to explore and get resources. And you will either use this just in being a secure developer and a person who is secure in your own digital ecosystem, or you will have the opportunity to pursue this as a full career, or do what I do, which is kind of a hybrid role where I have, a foot in the cybersecurity world and community, but also am very much a spatial data scientist and a geoint professional. And AI is taking over all of it. So back to the learning path and why we're so excited that you're getting started with Copilot, because you're going to see it everywhere. It's being built into all of the Microsoft 365 products, which we all use all the time. So you might as well get ahead of it and know how to optimize it. And Eben, I'm going to turn it back to you. How are we doing? Does anybody have questions? Hello, hello. Okay, so yeah, I'd love to hear from you. And if you want to put it in the chat or you want to raise your hand, I'd like to know what maybe one of your takeaways was from today. Eben, do you have any questions? You are my co-host here.
Yeah, I do obviously have a question. How do we actually become a nice ambassador? Because you had mentioned that anyone could be part of the community, right? So
Yes.
how would be the process, or is there a sign up or anything that we'll have to follow?
Yeah. So there's 3 steps. One is you send an email. I will provide everybody with the email address. Actually, it's also in the mini book, but I will provide it directly. And you just put in your subject line, subscribe, and that's it. And then you get on the list. And then they have a monthly meeting, and it might be the time might not work out as well for you to join the meeting, but anybody is welcome to join. But if you can't join the live meeting, you can still be part of the newsletter and get the agenda and see what's kind of going on. But anyways, once a quarter, they hold an extra meeting, which is 1 hour, that just gives you the information to become an ambassador, and then you are an ambassador, and that's it. But like I said, there are the live meetings, but there's so many other ways to participate outside of the live meetings. Because it's government, that's pretty fixed. And I was going to say it's probably about 3 in the morning for you guys, so I want to be respectful of that. But I think if there was enough interest and there were enough people, we could probably find a way to do a supplemental meeting that reviews the agenda of the month at a time that's more convenient for everybody. Because I am noticing there's a lot more people in our community who are coming from India. So that actually might be a need of our community to set up a secondary meeting that's more time friendly.
Thank you, Philippa, for the
Yeah.
clarification. So that was insightful. So the session is open to question and answers. So if anyone wants to ask questions, please raise your hands or either put it in the chat.
I would say there's questions, but also would love to just see if there a takeaway? Was there something that was new that you hadn't thought about before? Or maybe there was something that you already knew that I just affirmed and reminded you something that you were like, oh yeah, I was thinking about that, and that is true. So just love to hear from you. Or I can just take thumbs up if you got something good out of this and you feel inspired to learn more. All right, I got some thumbs up. And I know I speak quickly. I need to slow down my speech because I do respect that you all speak more languages than I do. And I hope it was clear enough.
You were perfect. The session was amazing.
Okay, good. Yeah. I honestly always thought cybersecurity was for the other. I never thought it applied to me. And I always thought it was super scary and like for very serious people. And then getting into it, you realize it's really fun. It's totally changing. It's very welcoming, and it applies to absolutely everybody. So my perceptions of what it was and my reality of what it is are very different, which is why I love to speak on it and love to make sure people know that it's a very welcoming community, and it doesn't matter how you apply it. You will, even if you just only apply it to yourself, you're winning, because there's a lot of threats out there and we all need to protect them. And I didn't see that many thumbs up when I said, who has a code on your phone or on your computer? Everybody here, please make sure you have a code on your phone or your computer. And also be very mindful of the elders in your life and the children in your life, because they are the most vulnerable and susceptible to scams. And you have a responsibility and you have the knowledge to help protect them. So when they get that strange email, or they get just so many things that impact their technical life, their financial life, their identity. So make sure you're looking in and asking questions to people in your life who aren't as comfortable with computers as you are and with cell phone technology, and make sure they're staying secure online. That's like a very important responsibility we all have.
Philippa, we have a question in the Q&A. So
Yes.
it's like a comment to the link which you have shared. So could you please check that?
How do I prepare for cybersecurity roles in the US? I had to be honest, in this current administration, we are becoming, unfortunately, very unfriendly for immigration, and not impossible, but it's becoming a lot more difficult. So I think that my strategy would be more about just becoming the best of whoever you are, wherever you are, and not necessarily focus it on the US, but just focus it on your own optimal development. Now, if that leads you to the US, that's great. I think in terms of immigration terms, they're always looking for things that are not available in our traditional workforce, which tends to be a lot more focused on the engineering and the technical, because our culture does not emphasize that. So the deeper technical roles, but it's a little bit of a, I'll explain it. You need to do both. You need to be deeply technical, but they also want to know that you're very public and you have a brand and you have a following and you have an impact, which is really hard because the people who are outgoing and do all the public stuff aren't always as deeply technical. And the people who are deeply technical aren't always that public. So if you really want to go the immigration path, you need to, what they say, a little from column A, a little from column B. You need to be deeply technical and really do things that are acknowledged at conferences, publish papers. Like you have to be the best at what you do technically, but you also have to be very visible and very public in your work. That would be my answer to how do you, do it within the US process. And you also have to be clear about what your goals are. Some people just want to come to the United States for the experience and say, hey, I want to be here for a year or two, or maybe 3, but then I want to go home. Other people say, no, I want to come to the United States and I want to make that my life. And that's where it gets a little more complicated, because if you start setting up roots and then you really have to make sure you're approved, the stakes are a lot higher. So I would just encourage you, wherever you are, just be the best at what you can do, continue to challenge yourself, and know that whatever you do, you're going to win in community. You're not going to win alone. So we're all in this together. And I'll give you a recent example of this. is we've had a lot of changes in our administration, as I think many of you are aware, and it's changed a number of things. So for many years, I was part of a Women Tech Makers program through Google. And then with the changes in administration, they said, no, okay, you can't do any diversity. So women, you got to go. Goodbye. And so they removed the Women Tech Makers program from Google. Now, we used to get a lot of benefits from Google, invited to conferences, a lot of training, a lot of opportunities to speak, to lead, to mentor. And Google handed the program, they took the list of women and they sort of gave it to a nonprofit to say, hey, take it from here. So we still exist, but we're out of the Google ecosystem. Now, I am a gold ambassador for the Microsoft Student Ambassador Program, and I knew I wasn't quite ready, but I was able to secure a nomination for the next level, which is the MVP, the Most Valuable Professional. And I didn't get it, and I kind of knew I didn't because when I did the application, I was missing the core Microsoft technologies. So though I'm very active in the industry, I have tons of volunteering and mentorship and content, I just didn't have Microsoft specific technology content, and I wasn't really as engaged then as I am now within the actual Microsoft community and the forums and the just really being like in the community and visible in the community, which is really important. So what I decided to do, because I could see that a lot of the women kind of missed being part of the Google ecosystem or wanted that recognition within the Microsoft ecosystem, and it's what I'm up to anyways. So I'm now leading a mentorship. We just started it this week as part of our International Women's Day campaign, and I had 50 people sign up overnight. So we now have 50 people. I'm sure I'll get more. That we're going to just kind of do a peer mentorship. We're all in it together to go, okay, our next step is Google Developer Expert or Microsoft Most Valuable Player. Now we've got a team of 50 of us supporting each other to achieve that goal. So if you have a dream of coming to the United States and doing an impact in security, find 5, 10, 15 other people who want to do the same thing. And then get mentors who've already done it, who are already in the United States, already doing that. Let them lead you, let them discuss with you. And they're going to do it more openly. If you come to them and say, hey, I've got 5, 10, 15 people, we're figuring this out together. Come help us, come help our group, not just come help me. So I think whatever you want to do, don't do it alone. Find the people who share a goal and find the people who've achieved that goal and then do it together. So I hope that answered your question. Eben, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I do feel the same wherever we are, we should be the best. And I think our motive should be to serve the community rather than our personal interest. Maybe become useful to others or have a helping mindset. That's what brings us together. And that's all from my part.
Yeah. And I think actually just adding on what you're saying about having a community mindset and sharing, you can achieve your own goals. Like my goal is to move towards MVP. It's my goal. So it's a peer mentorship. We're all in it together. So you learn and grow as you lead and serve. And so you'll get as much out of it as you give without even thinking about it. And I'll give another example. So for example, in 2024, in January 24, I started my first official law school cybersecurity class. And so I really was like, okay, I'm in the industry now. I'm feeling that I'm official. I've signed up. I'm a student, but I'm ready to be part of this community. So I joined Women in Cybersecurity. This is an association, and I was part of Women Tech Makers, and we do kind of an annual campaign. And I kept seeing on social media all these women saying, I've got my certification, I've got my credentials, and I'm feeling lost. Like, I just don't know where to start. And I was like, I don't have the answer, but I think if I pull us together, we can figure it out together. And I have the backing and support of Google. So let's go. So I got 50 is my number. I got 50 women came to join that mentorship. And I learned that you don't get into the industry, you don't look for a job in cybersecurity. What you do is you get into the industry in cybersecurity. You do the hackathons, the capture the flags. you follow your certification path, you find your people, you just get into it, and then the jobs kind of appear. And that was what happened with everybody. Once they had confidence, once they had a community, and that they were constantly given different resources that they could choose, whatever felt was applicable to them, they all started to thrive and grow. And it's so exciting to see now, 2 years later, what they've done in their careers. And that was possible because we came together as a community. And then and after that, the next year, I saw an opportunity for another mentorship. And I was like, okay, I've led this mentorship over here. I wonder if I qualify to be a mentor in this more professional, like other program working with veterans, military veterans who are transitioning into cybersecurity. So I raised my hand and I did that program, which was a 12-week, very structured mentorship program. And I was on a panel of mentors. I met the most amazing people and I loved it. And then after that, by being a mentor there, I was invited to now be on a board of advisors for a global cybersecurity workforce alliance. Through that, I ended up meeting a Microsoft full-time employee who's been actively recruiting me for a role, but the roles weren't right for me. So we've now come back full circle to say, I'm going to work with him over the next sort of 6 months to a year, and I'm going to create my own role because what I do, nobody else in his department is doing. And he's like, yeah, if you can, set the stage and sort of show us what you do and how you do it, and we have a whole plan, I can now sort of either work with this department at Microsoft in my field uh, as a full-time employee or as a contractor, but I now have my job. I know exactly what I'm going to do, and I wouldn't have done it or got that opportunity if it wasn't through volunteering. Sorry, that was a really long story, but it just says when you show up, you don't know what wonderful opportunities can reveal themselves, and show it with passion. Because what got his attention was my joy and love for the Microsoft student ambassador community. And so when he saw that my values related to Microsoft were aligned with his, there was the sense of, I need you on my team. So anyways, I think we're at time. Let us wrap it up. Thank you everybody for your time today. We are so excited you're here. We are so excited for you to do this learning path and to complete it. And again, everybody is here today. You are all our group 1 people. So thank you for that. And we're going to chase up everybody else who registered. We had like 90 people register. We had 30 people here today. Get them onboarded with group 2, and we'll get everybody going. And we look forward to celebrating you, getting you your certificate. And with that certificate will also come your cybersecurity mini book, which is filled with extra resources to get you on your way, including information about being a nice cybersecurity career ambassador, should you choose, or a Microsoft student ambassador, or an MVP. It's all there.
Thank you so much for such an informative session and for sharing your personal experiences. I'm sure all of us have learned something new today. Thank you for your time. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you.